Greetings and welcome to an end of the year top 10 video for the best Oblivion mods released in 2016. I'm your host Dark Elf Guy, and 2016 was a pretty good year for Oblivion modding overall, with about 850 new Oblivion mods released in 2016, including a ton of really nice graphical upgrades, and some pretty fun content mods with new quests, dungeons, and towns to explore. We'll be looking at some of the top mods released this year, but keep in mind this list is based solely on my personal opinion and the mods I've played. And we'll almost certainly be missing a few high quality mods that also deserve attention. Do keep in mind that I am basically a Morrowind modder, and this is a Morrowind channel for the most part, so my expert opinion on Oblivion mods might be lacking a little bit. Likewise, we will not be showing off any fan service or nudity mods on here. This isn't, that kind of YouTube channel. We don't cover those sorts of things here. And there's plenty of other YouTube channels that do that already, so there's really no need. And anyway, you'll find download links for all the mods shown down in the video description below, along with, general conflict information and a list of requirements when available and when necessary. And let's go ahead and get things started with number 10, Natural Grasses. And this is a graphics mod released by Discovery 1 on July 23rd of 2016. And basically what this mod does is it replaces the terrain grass you see, across the landscapes of Cyrodiil with a new, more vibrant, colourful, and, very green set of grasses, weeds, and flora to make the landscape of Oblivion a bit more scenic than it was before. This pretty much covers all the terrain grasses for Oblivion, from the Gold Coast to the Clovian Highlands, the Great Forest, Nibbin Basin, and much more. And, they're obviously a pretty high quality with high resolution replaces, as you might expect. Discovery 1 has made a lot of great graphic mods for Oblivion. We actually have 2 of them in this top 10 list. And the author actually recommends playing this alongside one of their other mods, the Natural World, which goes a long way towards beautifying the flora of Cyrodiil. That said, Natural Grasses works pretty well on its own or combined with other flora plugins, at least from what I've seen anyway. And all in all, it is a quite vibrant and scenic plugin. I especially love exploring the Great Forest with this mod installed, or the area right outside of Skinnengrad, which are 2 of my favourite areas in vanilla Oblivion that just, get really enhanced here by natural grasses. And there's a number of different, flora mods out there, of course, but to my mind, this is one of the best ones released in 2016, hence why it's in our number 10 spot for the top 10 best Oblivion mods of 2016. Up next, we have number 9, the Village of Withypool. And the Village of Withypool was a town and house mod released by Richtigbloedepinguin on July 12th of 2016, and I must apologise if I mispronounced the name there. I'm not, always the best at names, but anyway, moving on. This is a beautiful and scenic town mod that adds a new village, the Red Ring Road, that circles Lake Rumer and the Imperial City. What I especially love here about this town is the unique design that employs just an amazing sense of verticality. The only entrance involves going up these steep steps and narrow claustrophobic streets until you reach the town square at the very top of the hill here, making it a very defensive city that would be extremely difficult to assault with an invasion force, I would imagine. But either way, the unique and creative design of the city here is just incredible to my mind, and it blends in with the landscape rather well, using a sort of medieval building style and providing some fantastic views of the surrounding region. This town is of course fully functional with merchants, residential dwellings, and 2 different homes that you can purchase if you so desire. The market square is home to a number of small merchants that serve food, weapons, and armor, while you'll also find a general goods store and a small hole-in-the-wall alchemy shop near the base of the city steps. And the 2 homes that you can purchase here include a scenic manor right along the city square at the top of the hill, and a smaller sort of shack-style townhouse along the stairs leading up into town. Both of these homes are, quite cozy and atmospherically decorated, and overall, this is just a really great town to stop in at, every once in a while. That helps, populate the decidedly underpopulated countryside of Cyrodiil. Not to mention, it's just a really nice and scenic place to live if you need a new town to live in, and I would definitely highly recommend it. It's just a really high quality and unique town mod, hence why it's our number 9 pick for the best mods of 2016. Next we have number 8, Betty's Spring Overhaul. And this is a graphics and flora mod released by Betty on January 27th of 2016. And basically, it's a springtime flora replacer for the trees, flowers, and, general flora of Oblivion. And by default, vanilla Oblivion, at least according to the author, is in a constant state of basically summertime, I guess. And Betty has created a number of mods to change Cyrodiil's seasons. They're still static changes, mind you, including a winter-themed floor replacer and an autumn-themed floor replacer, but my personal favourite released this year is the spring-themed replacer that we're looking at here, because it's, quite vibrant, colourful, and just full of life that makes the landscape of Cyrodiil just burst with colour. The majority of the changes here are done just by changing and editing the trees, add, a lot more colour with pink, orange, and red, flowering trees, as well as, a lot of different shades of green. Now, it should also be mentioned that this works out rather well with natural grasses. That mod we showed off in the number 10 slot. In fact, I'm using these two mods together for the majority of the video footage here in the background. And of course, this replacer changes the flora in a majority of the regions around Cyrodiil, such as the Gold Coast, the Great Forest obviously, Clovian Highlands, the Imperial Hotlands, and even a bit of the swamps down in Blackwood. This is truly a unique and scenic way to play Oblivion, and it's kinda like exploring the province for the first time again, with lots of colour and beauty in the environment. To say the least, I really like checking out the countryside with this replacer installed. It plays to Oblivion's strengths, which is the game's potential for natural beauty. I'd also recommend checking out Betty's other seasonal mods as well for changing the atmosphere a bit. And anyway, this is a high quality and colourful mod that's a lot of fun to explore with, hence why it's our number 8 pick for the mod of the year for 2016. Now, our next mod is number 7, the Forgotten Dungeon. And this is a dungeon mod that was released by Demon Lord 7684 on August 19th of 2016. And to be honest, there weren't a whole lot of dungeon mods released for Oblivion in 2016, which is quite a shame, honestly, since that's always the one area that Oblivion needs improvement on more than pretty much anything else. But even ignoring that, the Forgotten Dungeon is a fantastic dungeon mod. We'd probably have it in our top 10 list regardless of what year it was released in, because it's a really, really good mod. Now, it starts off, pretty simply enough. You hear rumours about a dungeon up in the hinterlands of the Clovian Highlands, and you go to investigate. And what you'll find is a rather unique and original dungeon that seems to draw, at least to my mind, a lot of inspiration from traditional D&D dungeon design, and the Legends of Grimrock in particular. Each area of the dungeon is unique, and often involves a lot of puzzles and, the design, including, finding keys to unlock gates to get further into the dungeon, teleporters and pressure plates that require some, quick thinking, and more than a little bit of, running to get through, and a whole lot more. And if you're a fan of the sort of dungeon design where you, have to figure out how to get into the next area, this is, definitely a good mod to check out. Of course, one of the really cool things about the Forgotten Dungeon isn't just the unique, nature of the design, but also the fact that it's quite massive. Now, according to the author, the entire dungeon is 33 interior cells long, each area unique from the last, and that's quite frankly a ton of content. You can probably spend several hours just exploring this dungeon, solving puzzles, and, fighting off a variety of unique opponents as you do, and this is really the perfect sort of D&D adventure dungeon mod. And it's certainly, different from anything else that you might experience in Oblivion, with a pretty high quality dungeon design, which is why it's our number 7 pick for the best mods of 2016. Next up, we have number 6, the Town of Alnwick, and this is quite obviously a town and city mod released by Mrs. Frankenstein on January 12th of 2016. And as it turns out, 2016 was a really good year for town mods for Oblivion. We have not one, but two rather scenic and beautiful town mods on this top 10 list. And the town of Alnwick is definitely quite scenic, and it's located a little ways east of Breville, around a small lake. And Alnwick provides a lovely little town to call home, complete with a wide variety of services like a bookshop, tavern, bakery, smith, and general goods store, as well as some, just really atmospheric and detailed city designs, with gardens, outdoor cafes, docks, and small cliffside streets that provide a bit of verticality to this charming town. You'll even find a player home for sale here, which you can purchase for a modest fee, and it comes with some, truly beautiful views overlooking the city and surrounding areas. And there's also a lot of new items for sale in the shops here, including new sets of armor, clothing, food items. There's even an alchemy shop where you can stock up on potions and ingredients, But Alnwick isn't just a nice place to stop by and gather supplies. It's a lovely little town that's ideal for just, taking a stroll, relaxing, and enjoying some of, Oblivion's more scenic beauty in one of the more scenic areas of Cyrodiil. The vanilla version of Oblivion shipped with a decidedly lackluster countryside in terms of population, and town mods like Alnwick go a long way to making this feel more like, the capital province, with actual places where people live and work instead of, vast wilderness in between cities. And for that reason, along with, just the high quality of craftsmanship here, that's why it's our number 6 pick for the top 10 mods of 2016. Coming up, we have number 5, Imperial City Retextured, and this is quite obviously a texture and model replacer mod released by Montegris on May 2nd, 2016. And as you might expect, this mod basically replaces a lot of the texture work for the Imperial City, as well as the Imperial City Bridge and even the way shrines. This is a pretty high resolution and high quality set of textures to make the Imperial City look, more beautiful than it did in Vanilla Oblivion. And it covers pretty much every aspect of the Imperial City, from the White Gold Tower to the Talos Plaza district with its, manors, statues and columns, to the wells and flowering gardens to the Elven Gardens district, and the shops and forums of the Merchant district. And this retexture, notably keeps the same colour scheme and style as the vanilla Imperial City textures, so it blends in rather nicely while at the same time improving graphics. And as many of you probably know from my Morrowind showcases, I'm not really much of a texture expert, but I always do appreciate mods like this that, help to update the game's graphics. And while there's, a lot of other Imperial City retexture packages out there, this was certainly the best one to be released in 2016, and Montegris has released a lot of great graphics mods recently that, go a long way to modernizing Oblivion in a vanilla and, lore-friendly fashion in particular. Hence why this is our number 5 pick for the top 10 Oblivion mods of 2016. Moving on, we have number 4, Gil-galad, A Wizard's Castle, and this is a house, town, and quest mod all-in-one released by Rhyme Productions on December 17th, 2016. And to my mind, this mod is critically underrated. I know it was just released recently, so it's not that surprising that it hasn't, garnered more attention, but given the absurdly high quality of this mod's production, it definitely deserves, more recognition. It was certainly, at least for me, one of the biggest surprises of 2016, releasing near the tail end of the year and coming jam-packed with content. But, before I gush over it too much, let's go into some, detail about exactly what this mod does. So basically, this mod starts out as a house mod for when you finally become the Archmage of the Mages Guild. It seems the old Archmage had a secret Mages Guild compound out in the Colovian Highlands, where a lot of magical research was going on, and as the new Archmage, you'll be invited to, take over the affairs there. You'll find an absolutely beautifully detailed valley when you arrive with, ancient Iliad ruins converted into a massive magical facility that includes gardens, scenic walkways, massive grand halls, living quarters for the large number of NPC staff, libraries full of magical tomes, alchemy labs, and other, sorts of magical labs, and of course, personal quarters for yourself. But this isn't just a house mod, keep in mind. This does so much more than that. It's really quite amazing. In addition to a player home, you also find that every NPC in this mod has new dialogue. Some of them have quite a bit of new dialogue, honestly. And naturally, this also includes a few new quests for you to do, dungeons to fight through, and so on and so forth. Gil-galad also comes with a small farming village nearby, where the farmers have their own strong opinions about those blasted mages. An Imperial Fort where a special garrison of the Imperial Legion stands guard, and so much more, including some of the coolest and most breathtaking epic interiors I've seen for Oblivion yet. And all this combined makes for one of the best mods for Oblivion of 2016. You should absolutely give this mod a try. There's so much content here, of, just so much quality, that it would be crazy not to, at least play it once. And anyway, all that makes this our number 4 pick for the top 10 mods of 2016, and you should definitely give it a try. Next up is number 3, Immersive Interiors Imperial City, and this is an immersion and gameplay mod released by Ann_DZ on July 4th of 2016, and basically this is a continuation of the Immersive Interiors mod originally created by some Welsh guy. There were a few gaps in the first Immersive Interiors mod, while it covered a lot of cities, it notably did not cover the Imperial City. Well, that's what this mod does, and these immersive interiors basically make it possible for you to look out into the exterior world space from inside individual buildings, making the windows actual windows that you can see through. And this might seem like a pretty, minor change, but, it does make a huge difference in terms of immersion. Vanilla Oblivion shipped with, quite a lot of divided world space, with cities separated from the countryside, and interiors further separated from the city. A lot of mods have been released over the years to improve various aspects of all that, opening up the cities, adding real windows to most of the towns in the game, and now, finally, the Imperial City can feel just, a little bit more like a real city. If you really like immersive additions and details like that, this is pretty much a must-have mod, hence why it's our number 3 pick for the top 10 Oblivion mods of 2016. Coming close to the end here, we have number 2, FOMO Imperial Isles, Heart of the Empire, and I suppose the best category to call this is a compilation mod, though it's also a landscape and city mod as well. That was released by Siphon Seal, Shade Gabriel on August 4th of 2016. And this is actually a mod that's part of a larger project and series called For Overly Modified Oblivions, and the concept here is to combine a large number of popular, larger, and smaller mods together into one simple and easy to use mod that you can, install without taking up a couple hundred slots in your game's load, auto, and data files directory. Now, this project isn't just a compilation mod, it also adds in a ton of new content, such as a new district to the Imperial City called the East Docks District, that has a larger shipping presence and a lot more shops than the Waterfront District does. Now, having said that there, this is still very much a sort of continuously being worked on project. There's some areas of the East Docks District that are, meant for future add-ons and expansions, and a few of these are already available for download. And the project's ultimate goal is to keep making these sort of compilation mods for different areas and different parts of the game. And for those of you who are curious, you'll find a link to the FOMO project forums over at the Assimilation Lab down in the video description below, where you can, find out more about the project and what's coming down the pipeline in the future. But anyway, back to the reason why this is on our top 10 list. FOMO Imperial Isles is probably the single largest and most comprehensive compilation of mods for the Imperial City Island that's been made to date. It really largely expands the Imperial City, more than tripling the amount of content that you can find there, including the interior's only IC expanded, numerous small villages and hamlets around the Imperial Island, bridge expansions, and a whole new exterior-based district that has a ton of content to explore in itself. And all this makes FOMO Imperial Isles a must-play mod for a complete, more capital-feeling Imperial City, and also makes it, well-deserving of the number 2 spot in our top 10 Oblivion mods of 2016. Finally, we have number 1, and our mod of the year, Atmospheres for Heaven and Hell. This is a graphics and weather replacer mod released by Discovery 1 on January 10th of 2016. And truth be told, this is actually just the newest version of the Atmospheres mod that Discovery 1 has been releasing over the past few years. But it's an absolutely fantastic sky and weather mod that I, really can't recommend enough. As some of you may recall from our top 10 Mario mods of 2014 video, I'm a real sucker for these sort of graphical mods that improve the skies and atmosphere of the base game, and Atmospheres for Heaven and Hell does a lot to make Oblivion look more beautiful than it was before, and this mod does two things really. It updates and replaces the skies of Oblivion, along with the weather transitions and all that, including the skies in Oblivion itself when you go through an Oblivion gate. And the second thing is that it also adds in new types of weather, such as, blizzards and sleet, to, add a bit more variety to the types of weather conditions that you might come across as you explore Tamriel. And it really cannot be understated how beautiful and, kind of magical a lot of these new skies look. From lush and colourful, peaceful, cloudy days to the nightmare realms of Oblivion with their hailstorms and lightning, and, sudden pop-up blizzards with their, strangely bright skies and flurries of snow whipping past you as the wind picks up. And, it might just be my imagination, but I believe this mod also affects the daylight lighting at different times of day. The evening hours in particular seem to have a bit more of a red glow to them that's quite atmospheric. And all in all, this is a beautiful mod that does a lot to make your travels through the Cyrodiil countryside a lot more scenic than they were before. I'd definitely highly recommend checking it out for yourself, because the skies here sort of, help improve the entire game. And, that's why this is my number 1 pick and my personal mod of the year for 2016. But, with that said, all the mods on this list are pretty amazing, and I'd really recommend all of them. They're all really good mods that are definitely worth your time. And anyway, that wraps up everything I have for this top 10 list. Like I said before, you can find a list of download links for all the mods shown down here in the video description below. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in a couple of days with some more Morrowind mods for your viewing pleasure, and again next week with a few more Oblivion mods that you can check out as well. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.